Hi, thank you for watching my channel. Today we're going to be talking about Pluto in the 12th house. So what is Pluto? Pluto is the part of us that deals with obsession, passion, compulsion, our primal wounds. It's our raw sexuality and sensuality. It is our transformation, being in limbo, rebirth and renewal. It is the urge to penetrate to the core of experience, paranoia, other people's resources. What it does is it cleanses and regenerates through drawing out our hidden or wounded side by bringing that to the surface through usually uncomfortable situations in life. And Pluto, whatever it touches, it adds a depth and intensity, and it is an unconscious part of us. What is the 12th house? The 12th house is the house of dissolution. It is the merging beyond the self, felt through the heart and the soul. This is the house of the unknown. This is where our spirituality is. This is where the 12th house is ruled by Pisces. It has a very Neptunian type feel to it. This is the house where we can transcend through meditation, love, sex, or even drugs and alcohol. This is where we may look to escape. This is also the house of isolation, of hospitals, prisons, asylums. And on the other end, it's the house of, like I said, spirituality, of monks, gurus, where we also have the most compassion and empathy for other people. This is where we lose our identity, and our edges are not that defined here. Things are intangible here. So these are where we might have urges or feelings, but then we go out to grasp for them and we're never able to really get a hold of them. This is where parts of us, depending on what planets are here, those planets in a way may be repressed or not given a lot of attention, or maybe hidden. I just wanted to remind you guys before I get started that one placement does not define who you are, that these videos are meant to give you more awareness and consciousness, and they are never meant to discourage in any way. That being said, please take what speaks to you and release the rest, and let's get started. Pluto in the 12th house. You guys are the hunters of the unconscious mind and soul. You may not know it yet, but you are. And I'm here to help you recognize that and to get on your path to claiming your own personal power through Pluto in this placement. It is advised, and you have the ability to dig out and restore what has been hidden, blocked, or wounded within you. This is going to take a lot of awareness and practice on your part, but it can be done. And you are also someone who has a lot of power in a spiritual sense that you need to tap into, you need to lean into. And this personal power isn't just personal, it's almost a spiritual power and depth on a conscious collective level. Now, the thing is, Pluto in the 12th, if you don't recognize your own power, you can also become a victim of your own unconscious beliefs and habits through Pluto in this placement actually controlling you. You can become your own worst enemy through self-sabotaging behaviors and mindsets. With Pluto in the 12th house, it may be difficult for you as an individual to even recognize yourself as having any Pluto traits at all. You may be someone who is very uncomfortable with power, who is very uncomfortable around Plutonic people, who are obsessive or compulsive or just kind of wreak or power and kind of intense energies. This may be something that you may be put off with, you may find that you are fearful of, and that you definitely don't recognize within yourself. And this is because Pluto, which is an unconscious planet, is placed in the 12th house, which is also an unconscious, and specifically the house of hidden things, things that are mostly within our subconscious that we are unaware of. It is very important for you, Pluto, as you become aware of what Pluto is doing within your subconscious mind and life, that you start to recognize your own power. It may be difficult for you to acknowledge weakness here, any kind of personal shortcomings, but it's mostly difficult for you, Pluto in the 12th, to recognize your own greatness, your gifts, and your potential here as well, because Pluto is blocking that and is telling you unconsciously that, you know, maybe that you're not good enough, that you don't have personal power, that you're not a passionate kind of person, that intensity is for other people, but not for you. And well, that's just not true. And that's what we need you to understand and start to learn to recognize and value within yourself. With Pluto in the 12th house, there can also be a fear of loss, change, and death that you will need to face and overcome during this lifetime. Sexually, with Pluto placed in the 12th house, you may feel inhibited in this area, which could cause feelings of shame or guilt for having natural feelings of sexuality or sensuality. On the other hand, if your Pluto is placed more positively, you may be someone who has a great gift and ability to accept not just the light parts of yourself, but also the shadow parts of yourself on a very deep level. You may have experienced or witnessed abuse as a child within your family. This is something that you may have buried deep within your subconscious mind. With Pluto in the 12th house, you are an extremely sensitive individual. You may even have empathic qualities about you, where sometimes you're like a sponge and you can pick up other people's energies so much so, and specifically they're more intense, obsessive, darker traits or energies that you're being surrounded with. You can really pick up those energies, and without being aware, these energies can really affect you in a negative way. This is something that you will need to become aware of and recognize that just because you're feeling something, that doesn't necessarily mean that that is your energy. And it's very important to learn how to protect your own energy and to be aware of that. On another more positive note, with awareness, you could also be very gifted and skilled in tapping into positive energies of other people, especially those more positive Plutonic type energies, such as, you know, someone's strength, their transformative powers, as well as their positive passions and kind of intensity that really is inspiring and growth oriented. Growing up, you may have been the scapegoat within your family. This may have looked like, say, your parents were in a fight in front of you, or there were very negative behaviors in the household, and you were the one who acted out and maybe got expelled from school or joined kids in some kind of behavior that was unacceptable where you got in big trouble. And in a roundabout way, you took that negative energy that was outside of you and you put it onto yourself and you took all the blame. And that is kind of how Pluto can show up with the 12th house, because sometimes in the 12th house, we end up taking on other people's negative traits, almost like a martyr without even knowing it. And with Pluto here, you could have taken on maybe a darker trait without even knowing it as a child, acted out, and you weren't even consciously aware of that. So it's really important as you become more aware of this placement that you really see the role you play in a larger scheme within your family and the groups that you're in, and see how Pluto may be sabotaging your roles or behaviors here. You may be someone who takes on roles within your working environment or within society where you deal behind the scenes in heavier areas of life. This could be within a prison, within some kind of mental health work, or even war. It could look like maybe you're someone who supplies weapons during a war, or you're someone who sells pharmaceuticals to those with depression or a mental illness. You could be involved with work in places that focus on kind of the heavier, more hidden sides of life. This could be a cult, jails, asylums, hospitals, or hospices. With Pluto in the 12th house, you may be someone who can get easily overwhelmed or drained within social situations. This could act out in a way where you are naturally just a more introverted person, or you may go through different periods of your life where you may be social and then become antisocial, and kind of going back and forth between these extremes where you may be visible and involved in the groups around you, and then you may disappear. You may just kind of block everyone out for a little bit. And this is due to a deeper unconscious need to recharge and to kind of self-regenerate in some way. You could also be someone who, during these periods of isolation and aloneness, where you could pick up a hobby or do something creative. This could be, painting, this could be writing, or even, music, where in some form or shape you are deeply transformed through these activities, in solitude, or just with being alone with yourself during these times. You have the potential to transform, regenerate, and kind of renew yourself on a deeper level. With Pluto in the 12th house, you are someone who can be fascinated or deeply compassionate and empathetic to those who are maybe outcasted by society in some way, or who even may have committed crimes, or people who have not yet tapped into their full potential. Pluto in the 12th. The last and most important point of transformation and growth for you is through spirituality. Spirituality is a major point for you to find your own personal power as well as a spiritual collective power within you. When you reach deep within the recesses of your being into your soul, as well as when you take time out to yourself to really reach out to a higher power, whatever that looks like for you, you are someone who truly has the ability to, in a sense, unlock the secret garden to other realms within this earth during this life. You are someone who can become a great healer, who can help others once you have become consciously aware of your own hidden shadow side and your spiritual gifts and the abundance that you have there. Pluto here in this placement may make you feel like you don't have personal power, but the reality is you have one of the greatest personal powers of all. That is a spiritual power. And all you have to do is lean in to the spirit world in order to access that in a very genuine and heartfelt way. Because part of your purpose with Pluto here is to unlock your spiritual potential and to ultimately be set free once you have done that. And to help others also set themselves free through unlocking their own potential through spirituality and all the support and strength in the universe that is there for you and anyone willing in the universe to tap into. So that is my interpretation of Pluto in the 12th house. If you guys, I hope this was helpful. Please, if you haven't, please subscribe. And I would love to hear your comments of your experiences of Pluto in the 12th house. And I hope to talk to you guys soon. Thank you so much. Bye.